Well, let's see, it started back in 1997 when I first started with Fluke Networks. Back at the time, the first product that I worked on with them was the LAN meter, the 686 LAN meter for both 10 and 100 megabit Ethernet and token ring, for those who remember what that is. Yeah, well, the product that subsequently replaced the LAN meter was a product called the OptiView, which Fluke Networks introduced in 2001. So I was involved in the development of that product and the marketing of that product from the start. And that went until, well, until our part of the company left Fluke Networks to become part of NetScout in 2015. So a good 15 years of working on that product line. Well, when I first started working for Fluke Networks, we were introducing that LAN meter, the fast LAN meter, the 10100 Ethernet 686 LAN meter. So that was the very first product I had some responsibility about introducing to the market and to our field sales team. Since then, we came out with many different products over the years, serving different needs of our customers and different types of customers, and also maturing with the technology as that also changed in the networking business. Right, and it has been an interesting ride because we were part of Fluke Networks for, let's see, from when I started in 1997, we were part of Fluke Networks in 2015, when our portion of the company was split off and sold to NetScout. What remained behind at Fluke Networks was the cable test business, the copper and fiber cable certification business. The active network test components, those came with us to NetScout. Subsequently, just a few years later, NetScout decided that we were not a good fit with that organization. You know, NetScout's product at the time uh, was oriented around performance management, application and network performance management, and sold to a much larger type of customer than the netAlly handheld product line was designed for. So at that time, they decided to sell us off, and we became an independent company. We launched the netAlly brand in August of 2019 and have come out with some fairly innovative products since that time. Okay, so yeah, when we were separated from NetScout, we had to create a new company. We had to create a new company brand, a name for us to go to market with. Fortunately, we had a number of trade names that the company owned, and one of those was netAlly. Now, netAlly actually used to be a company many years ago that came out with a voice over IP simulation technology. It's a company that we acquired back when we were part of Fluke Networks. But upon reflection, we thought that this name actually really says a lot about who we wanted to be in the marketplace. We wanted to be an ally, a friend, a supporter for our customers. And that's why we went with the name netAlly. We have had the trade name and it fit us, and we really appreciate the attention that our brand is starting to get in the marketplace, and that companies appreciate what that brand stands for. We've always had a couple of key things in mind when we design our products for our customers. And to be clear, our customers are both the people who work on their own networks. They may be the operator of a private network, but also with service providers, whether that's a managed service provider, system integrator, or VAR, who is installing or working on a network for their client customer. As part of our philosophy, we've always believed in a couple of key things, but they boil down to three key points: simplicity, visibility, and collaboration. That's what our customers really need. Their networks are far too complex, it's hard to keep up with the technology, and if we can make our products simple to use and give them the information they need to get their jobs done, the better off they are and the better off we are. It's also important to have the right kind of visibility into the network, whether that's Wi-Fi or wired Ethernet, to have the ability to see who's on your network, where they connected, and what's happening on the network in real time, and also to enhance collaboration. It's rare to have a company where it's simply one person who's responsible for all maintenance on the network. Often there are others that they have to collaborate and communicate with. And so we've designed our tools to foster that collaboration. There's always technology churn, changes in technology, new technology that comes out, new standards. Nowhere is that more true than in the world of Wi-Fi. We've gone from the start of 802.11b technology many years ago to now 802.11ax, Wi-Fi 6. There's always new technology that is compressing data into ever smaller bits and packages and being able to transmit that information more quickly over today's networks. So there's always technology churn, and that will always continue. So netAlly would be obviously committed to our customers to follow those trends and make sure that our tools keep up with those technology changes. But there's also changes in our customers with respect to how they operate their networks, that they're having to do so with fewer resources, fewer people, and with people who may not have the depth of experience that some older, more wiser network engineers might have. So that's another trend that we want to keep up with, and we try to address that with features like the auto test in each one of our products that automates the whole test procedure so that the user doesn't have to think about or worry about, am I testing all of the right parameters? We try to program that in for the customers so that they can get more out of their tool without necessarily having to be an expert. Innovation has been really core to our existence ever since the start at Fluke Networks when we built that first land meter back in the 1990s. And keeping up with technology requires us to continue to innovate in the product line. So we do expect to see additional enhancements in the product line. We've some very exciting things coming over the next 18 months. I can't reveal too much about the details. But that's our key goal is to continue to try to keep up with technology and the needs that our customers have. So in the Link Runner product family, which has been around, well, for 20 years as of this year, 2022, we do expect to see some new products coming out in the Link Runner family, as well as some solutions that address security concerns on today's networks. First off, Link Live is a cloud service, and it's also available as a privately licensed server that can be installed on a customer server or in their private cloud. What Link Live does is that it is a collection point for test data coming from our testers. It's also a place to do additional analysis and other features like site surveying with AirMapper. So it has become a way for our customers to control and centralize all of the test data from any one of the testers that they may have, and then provide documentation. With just a click of a button, they can create reports and create up to the minute updated documentation for their network. We all know how hard it is to keep documentation up to date because of the changes that networks have on a daily basis. So being able to automate that process through discovery with one of the tools, which then passes that information to Link Live, being able to automate the process of documentation saves our customers hours of time every month, if not every week. So do look for additional capabilities, additional enhancements in reporting, and additional analysis capabilities coming in Link Live in the next year. Yeah, AirMapper exists because there are a lot of people in the market who are responsible for installing and maintaining a Wi-Fi network, and yet they may not have the experience and expertise to use a more powerful program like a Wi-Fi planning and surveying software solution. Now, we do have that. We do have that in the Air Magnet Survey Pro product, and it's the right kind of product for the people who need that in-depth view of planning a network and surveying it. But we've found that there are a lot of people who just need a very quick way of visualizing what's happening in their Wi-Fi network. And that's why we created AirMapper. To discuss briefly what it does, the user can simply use a handheld tool like the AirCheck G3 or the Etherscope to walk through their facility and gather data points as they go throughout the building. That information is then transmitted to Link Live, where a heat map can be generated so they can visualize what's happening in their Wi-Fi network. So it really was developed in mind for the people who aren't the experts, but have the responsibility of managing that network on a daily basis. Again, we have the deeper, more powerful tool, but most people are appreciating the fact that they can now do a site survey in minutes and get the answers they need and to be able to visualize their network using AirMapper and Link Live. So we call the whole collection of tools that work around AirMapper the AirMapper ecosystem. So that's the AirCheck G3, the Etherscope NXG, Air Magnet Survey Pro, and Link Live. They all work together as a part of utilizing AirMapper for different aspects of use. You've got the detailed planning that you can do in Air Magnet. You've got two different tools that you can do data collection with, and then visualize and share that information using Link Live. Okay, so Landbird. It's a very interesting test. We have one test we call the performance test, which is really utilized to characterize the bandwidth and quality of packet transmission across an active network from within a site or from site to test the service provider circuits. Are you getting the bandwidth that you contract your service providers with? And that's a very important tool to have to be able to know what kind of bandwidth, latency, packet loss, and jitter is occurring from end to end on your network. But Lambert is a little different. Lambert was designed to be able to characterize the carrying capacity of the actual physical cable plant, whether that's copper or fiber cabling. Now, where this intersects with cabling certification, so there are other tools in the marketplace that our friends here at DMN sell, like from Fluke Networks, that do cable certification, and that is to test the parameters of the performance of cabling according to the IEEE standards. And that is where we get our category cabling certification or levels coming from. But there are many customers who have legacy cable plant, maybe old Cat5 or Cat5e, that are now concerned about how much bandwidth that network might be able to support, particularly with new technologies coming along in Wi-Fi, like Wi-Fi 6 and near gigabit speeds on wireless, means the backhaul, the wired network behind that Wi-Fi network, has to be of higher speed. And so many customers are going with multi-gig links from their switching to their access points, so 2.5 and 5 gigabit per second links. But they're concerned that they may have to upgrade their cable plant in order to achieve those speeds. What Lambert is designed to do is to push traffic in the form of packets over that cable plant to understand exactly how much data that network cabling will support. And in many cases, our customers are finding that even on very old legacy Category 3 cabling, they're able to get enough speed and capability out of that cable plant without having to recable their buildings. In some cases, our customers are saving thousands of dollars, or euros as the case may be, because they're able to understand and know exactly that their cable plant will support those higher speeds and they don't have to upgrade to Category 6 cabling to be able to do it. So that's what Lambert's all about. It's a way of characterizing a cable plant to ensure that it has the bandwidth to support your requirements. So I explained a little bit about performance testing in Lambert. There's actually three versions of a type of performance test that you can do with an Etherscope, two Etherscopes, and also an Etherscope paired with a LinkRunner 10G or two LinkRunner 10G units. So we talked about Lambert, the ability to characterize the cable plant. That's one. I mentioned the performance testing. Now that is putting layer 3 traffic across a network from end to end, including the ability to validate QoS throughout your network. And then the third is iPerf testing. Everyone's familiar with iPerf as a way of doing command line level performance testing. We've also built that into our tools with our own developed iPerf app that allows you to target any iPerf server, or we also sell a small pocket-sized iPerf server that can be readily deployed anywhere in a network, powered over Ethernet, so it can be left in any location, and can be targeted from any one of the tools. The particularly interesting use is when you're using an air check to target a test accessory, doing an iPerf test from the Wi-Fi into the wired network. So there are those three versions of performance testing available. Lambert to characterize your cabling, the performance test to characterize end-to-end performance throughout your network at layer 3, and then iPerf testing, which enables you to do Wi-Fi to wired performance tests. Yeah, so both EtherScope NXG and the AirCheck G3 have two Wi-Fi radios inside. One is the Wi-Fi 6 analysis radio. So this is capable of all previous technologies. We say that it's Wi-Fi 6, but of course it addresses all of the previous iterations of Wi-Fi. And that is the tool that we use to be able to do active analysis on a Wi-Fi network. There's also a Wi-Fi 5 connectivity radio. So that's part of the system components of the tester, and that gives us the ability to connect to a network live while we're doing analysis using the Wi-Fi 6 radios. So this works in concert with each other. I can connect to the network with the Wi-Fi 5 one-by-one radio, and then I can be doing analysis with the Wi-Fi 6 radio, and as I'm walking around, I am both actively connected and doing passive analysis of the Wi-Fi network. This means I can do two types of surveys, actually make that three types of surveys with one walk through a building. I can be connected doing an active survey. I can be passively collecting data from the Wi-Fi 6 network, but that radio that is the one-by-one Wi-Fi 5 radio also has a Bluetooth BLE radio. So we can be collecting Bluetooth information while we're walking the facility at the same time. That one-by-one radio can also be doing network discovery. So it can actually talk to your network components and gather information from the bridge forwarding tables to understand who's on the network, where are they connected, and actually create a topology map in Link Live from that discovered data. So one walk throughout a facility will get you all sorts of information about the performance of the Wi-Fi network, what it's like to be actively connected to that network, to detect and heat map Bluetooth beacons, as well as discover your network and map it. So a little bit of history about the transition between OptiView and our time at NetScout and EtherScope and our time at netAlly. In the years just prior to us being split out from NetScout, our engineering team was actually actively involved in developing the next generation OptiView tablet network analyzer. But when we were separated from NetScout, it was decided that neither NetScout nor netAlly would create this new high-end tablet, but we did fold in almost all of the technology that had been developed for this new high-end analysis tablet is actually inside the EtherScope. So a lot of the capabilities, nearly all of the capabilities of the prior OptiView, and many of the new features and capabilities that were planned for the new tablet are actually in this handheld tool at a much lower price. Our customers may remember that the OptiView fully loaded was selling for more than 30,000 US dollars, and the EtherScope is about a third of that price. So much more capability, one third of the price, and that means that more of our customers can use EtherScope more effectively and economically than an OptiView. Now, as far as doing deeper analysis, the whole market has effectively switched over to using an open source packet analysis tool called Wireshark. Everyone has it, Everyone uses it, and it continues to be developed and enhanced because it is an open source and a very active community in doing development. We don't see the need to do more than what the community is already doing on Wireshark. What they do get from using Etherscope, though, is a handheld device that is capable of doing full line rate 10 gigabit per second packet capture. Now, a lot of people do packet capture using using their laptops, but that is very prone to dropping packets. When you're doing in-depth analysis, particularly of real-time applications, you need to ensure that you get every packet, and that's what you can do with an Etherscope. So using Etherscope as the packet collection tool and Wireshark for doing your analysis, you're all set. With respect to future developments coming from netAlly, as I mentioned, there's always technology changes that our customers have to go through, whether that's higher speeds on the network, new standards, new equipment, network refreshes. And as that occurs, you can be ensured that netAlly is going to develop products that will come along with you for those changes, whether that's continued higher speeds in the access layer, different Wi-Fi standards. We're always going to be watching those developments, and as our customers have new needs developed from those technology changes, our products will keep pace.